Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's One Piece Treasure Cruise video we are going to discuss about the Kizuna shop and specifically the super evolution scrolls available there. A big super boss Kizuna is coming, so many people will wonder how to spend their Kizuna insignia, and of course I will also be making a video on the Kizuna units you should be prioritizing. In today's video though we are going to talk about the super evolution scrolls available and which characters you should focus on super evolving first. Let's pull up the high priority list. On the left, the units won't be in any particular order by the way, and let's also get in One Piece Treasure Cruise to see the super evolution scrolls available. Up first we have V1 Blackbeard, the Dex version, and this is actually a very good super evolution simply because in my opinion the non-super evolved Blackbeard was not usable. He had a decent captain ability, being able to penetrate barriers, but other than that, his boosts were not okay and his special was not even good. Now with the super evolution, he is not becoming an amazing unit by any means. His captain ability though is increased, and then his special is actually becoming useful, gaining some utility of removing block slots and also bind. I am not going to put him on the priority list, but a very decent super evolution for a very old character. Personally, the main content I have cleared with this Blackbeard is Garp Challenge 15, and you can see that video on the channel as well. It was, I think, Team Building Challenge number 3. Next up, we have V2 Zoro, a pretty disappointing super evolution in my book, maybe because I'm a big Zoro fan and I had higher expectations, but still, they dropped the ball here. V2 Zoro is a slasher-centric character. I expected to see Driven also boosted in his super evolution from the captain ability. It did not happen because Bandai likes to make Driven captains around bad characters like Doflamingo or Katakuri for example, and not really good characters like one of the members of the Straw Hats, Zoro. Moving past that, they did give him some damage reduction and he can make dex and int slots matching now, which is good, but his special is still underwhelming, not because he is only boosting slasher characters, but because the 2.25 attack boost in turn 1 is good. The next turn when you get an attack boost again, it is not increased to 2.5 times, it is still 2.25. That's not incredible. They did not give him some extra utility or maybe some extra boosting, they just left the attack boost, and the only other utility is the RCV and TND slots having matching slot effects, which is great, but not enough to make the super evolution of V2 Zoro get on the high priority list. The next character is V2 Sanji, not a fan favorite, I have to admit. So many people hate this character because he required way too much, and it's true, the 6-star form was way too restrictive. Great artwork, but he needed 6 fighters on the team as captain, and then as a sub, he needed you to have over a specific amount of HP to give an attack boost, and the second half of his special, to remove the chain multiplier or chain coefficient reduction for 10 turns, needed him to be a captain. These restrictions are now gone, so his super evolution definitely improved him as a character, but in my opinion, they did that way too late. It is way too late for V2 Sanji to actually be relevant. We have so many great Sanji units in the game and so many great Sai units in the game. So while the super evolution is a good upgrade to a pretty flawed character, it came way too late, so he cannot be on the priority list, that is for certain. Next up we have V2 Mihawk, who actually got a pretty decent super evolution, but just like Sanji, Mihawk is a character that doesn't need fighter characters, he needs slasher characters. And it's fine, that is Mihawk, but with superclass now available, and Mihawk having the possibility of getting a superclass slasher character, this Mihawk might not be the best investment. He is another chain increasing captain, but his captain ability barely saw an improvement. The main thing was his special. His special now allows him to actually give you an ore boost in the next turn as well. That did not happen if you had dex or int slots before. He just gave you a higher ore boost, but now he can give you one in 2 stages, which is a great improvement, but not a massive one for V2 Mihawk to gain crazy popularity, of course. He's not going to be on the high priority list, but the special changes and improvements definitely are good. Next up, we have V2 Nami or Onami, and this is a great super evolution, the first one on the high priority list. In my opinion, makes Onami way more usable. As a captain, of course, she is not going to be widely used, but her multipliers are now better. She can give you some healing and also give you special cooldown reduction. For her special, even if the enemy now is not going to get inflicted by the defense down and you are not going to get the conditional attack boost, Onami can still provide help with a color affinity boost and more special cooldown reduction. She is not the most broken super evolution, but it is definitely a great upgrade from her normal 6-star form. Next up, we have Cracker, and he's an interesting case because yes, his captain ability got a boost, he has better multipliers now, but you are never going to use Cracker as a captain. You have more chances of using Onami as a captain in my opinion than Cracker. Is his special better though? Yes and no. In my opinion, Cracker got a buff and a nerf at the same time. That's why he's not going to be on the list. He can now give you a 2 times color affinity boost opposed to 1.75 times he had before. The chain boost is still the same, the slot manipulation is still the same, the classes are still the same, but what changed is that he now gives an HP cut to the enemy. This might be helpful in some situations, not that often. In some other cases it might not even be relevant, but in some cases it can also be damaging to your team, making him unusable, because if the enemy has an interruption to HP cut, then you are going to prefer another color affinity or chain booster. That is my main issue with 6+ Cracker, and I won't put him on the high priority list, but if the HP cut does not give you an interruption or does not damage your run in any way, then the 6+ is obviously better. Next up, we have Komurasaki, who is definitely going to be on the list because she changes color from Q to int. She gets better multipliers, a tad bit of better multipliers as a captain, and then for her special, she gets a whole new level where she can actually give you resilience and prevent you from losing for 1 turn if certain requirements are met, of course. The other Komurasaki cannot do that, but everything else, the attack, the orb boost, the changing slots to Q and int, and also boosting both Q and int colors, stay the same in both forms, but getting another color unit as a super evolution is definitely great. I would also advise you that if you do not have 2 Komurasaki units, to super evolve one and keep the other one in the Q form, to not super evolve her before you actually need her, because you never know, the Q unit might definitely still be usable in a quest. Germa 66 is up next, the first super type unit to get a super evolution, and it is actually a very good one, definitely worth to pick up, definitely will be on the list. In my opinion, the Germa unit, when it came out, it had a huge flaw. They could not turn block slots into TND. And that was extremely annoying because if you wanted to get TND slots for a higher boost, you also needed to get another unit to remove block slots if present. Thankfully now this is upgraded and fixed, and also, in my opinion, if you want to make a character swap to captain, you should actually make him stay captain throughout a stage transition, so from stage 4 to stage 5 for example. Just so you can get everything out of Germa. They can give you rainbow damage, they can give you an orb boost now for 3 turns as well, they can give you better multipliers as captain. It is overall a great super evolution, much needed for the unit and worth picking up. As I said, I don't think there is much to be said about this unit, it is just a great super evolution that you should have if you like using Germa. I don't think they will be used a ton, but they are definitely way more usable now than they were in their previous form. Next up we have the Kuja Pirates, and this will apply for every single Kizuna unit that came out after the Pirate Alliance Kizuna was introduced in One Piece Treasure Cruise. All of them, all of them without exceptions are worth to super evolve, and they should be a priority because from 5-star to 5+, they actually get a very good upgrade that makes them from subpar units to extremely usable in the correct situation. The Kuja Pirates are the first one, and no exception to the rule of course. They become so much better because their utility increases, they can provide an attack boost for free spirit and shooters, and then they can be a great unit to increase damage even through immunity if you have over 50,000 HP. So definitely a unit that you should super evolve, it can be huge help in Kizuna classes. Next up we have a very talked about unit and definitely a favorite as a super evolution, 6+ V2 Sabo. V2 Sabo in my opinion was never a bad unit, even his 6-star form is a great provider of damage, giving you an ore boost for of course fighter, shooter and free spirit units that does not change even in the super evolution. So he can give you a chain lock at 3 times and the ore boost I mentioned is 2.25 times. Now with his super evolution, he is again a great unit, but now he can provide ignited status to the enemy, burning them essentially, then he can give you a chain boost and a 2.25 attack boost for the same classes I mentioned before. So he is not a direct upgrade, he is a side grade. For the captain ability, he is a direct upgrade, he is way better as a captain in his super evolution, but you are not going to often use him as a captain. He is mainly a great sub. His super evolution is blatantly made to work with versus ace, so they work wonders together, but his 6-star form is still usable. In my opinion, if you only have one, yes, you should super evolve him, especially if you have versus ace, but if you have 2 V2 Sabo, definitely keep one in the 6-star form and then super evolve the other one, just like you should do with the Komurasaki legend. This super evolution is definitely worth it though, so of course it will be on the list. Next up we have Carrot, another great super evolution that will be on the list, 100% worth to super evolve her. She becomes such a better unit. Even after all these years from the time she was released, she is still very unique, and now with her super evolution, the annoying restriction of her captain ability that your sub units should fulfill a requirement to have 2 classes out of the boosted ones in order to be fully boosted is finally gone. Now she can flat out boost the classes that she boosts without restrictions of your subs having 2 classes. You can have one of the 2 and you are still going to be fully boosted. Her special also allows her now to give a 2.25 times ore boost, make slots matching and become captain for 3 turns, which is awesome. As I said in the Germa unit, you need to be able to transition with your new captain that became in the middle of the quest through 2 different stages, from stage 4 to stage 5, and now Carrot can do that, and also she can be great for speedrunning, she can be great for providing the uniqueness of going through defensive effects and barriers, so I am a big fan of the super evolution, that is for certain. The rest of the list will contain the remaining Kizuna units that have a super evolution available, meaning Jack, Olin, and even the Krieg Pirates, the most recent one, a unit that right now does not have scores available, but I am pretty certain they will become available tomorrow with Kizuna Blackbeard. Blackbeard can also be on this list, and simply enough, all of these units you should super evolve because they become so much better. All of them give you many turns of utility, and they also provide some sort of a damage boost for different classes or colors. And the final 2 super evolutions available that I won't put on the list, Jack does get a decent upgrade. He can now give you a 3 times chain lock, which is good. He was a useless unit, only used for extra EXP as double captain, but now he can provide a bit of help. I still don't think it is a great super evolution, but it is still an upgrade. For Pudding, she is still very unique, and now she can remove 2 turns of Bind and Despair, with her double special activation of course, 4 turns in total, in 2 different stages maybe, or even in the same stage. The reason I won't put her on the list is because I do not think she should take priority over any of the units mentioned. Her multipliers as a captain also get better. Not a captain you are going to use often though. If Oden also has the Super Evolution scrolls available in a month or two in the Kizuna shop, definitely worth Super Evolving Oden. He becomes a much better Super Sugofest unit, and that applies if you did not manage to gather all of his calls through the various events they have been available in. If you did, of course, you most likely already have his Super Evolution available in your box. And these were my suggestions on what calls you should prioritize and what Super Evolutions you should get first. Of course, feel free to ask me any question you might have in the comments below. I will do my best to help. And if you enjoyed this video or it helped out, definitely leave a like to let me know, I would really appreciate it, and subscribe to the channel for more OPTC content. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.